It's the start of the new season, which means it's tier list time. Only problem is, I'm not good enough at the game to make an actual tier list. So instead, we're gonna rank every character by how lore accurate they are. In other words, do the abilities actually match previous depictions of the characters, whether it be from the comics, movies, shows, or other media? Obviously, creative liberties have to be taken to make the characters fun and balanced. I mean, a lore accurate Squirrel Girl would technically never lose. But do these changes stray too far from the source material? Well, that's what we're here to find out, starting with Adam Warlock. Adam has become a meme among the community for just how weak he is relative to his comic counterpart. Adam is supposed to be the perfect being, with super speed, strength, and durability, which rivals Adam doesn't have. Most importantly, though, Adam can fly. So him having no movement abilities at all, not even a slow fall, is absolutely insane. The rest of his powers make sense though. His passive is perfect as he can never truly die in the comics, and his karmic staff does allow him to focus his energy to fight or heal and resurrect others. Even with that, I'm gonna have to put him in D just because he's so slow and weak. Next is Black Panther. I have no notes for the avatar of Bast. His kit is pretty much perfect. He's fast, dashing between enemies with his sharp claws. He uses a spear which is famously passed down between Black Panthers, and his passive plays on the energy absorption of his vibranium suit. He takes a lot of skill to play, which matches the character's fighting style, and his ultimate allows him to call on his god Bast for help. Easy S tier, unless I'm using him, because then he's just always dead. Black Widow is doomed to be at the bottom of any tier list. Yes, she's a talented sniper, but it's not her main skill. She's a spy, specialized in infiltration and hand-to-hand combat. Her kit should be focused on melee combos, with quick-draw weapons and gadgets, instead of a sniper. Even if you ignore the lackluster melee combat, the fact that she doesn't use her signature weapon, the Widow's Bite, at all, forces me to put her in F. It may be harsh, but someone has to be at the bottom. Bruce Banner's next, aka the Hulk. He's conceptually great. I enjoy the concept of transforming between Banner and Hulk. I just think it's implemented poorly. The transitions take too long, and once you become Banner, you die instantly because the whole team is locked onto you. Bruce needs some survivability buffs, like the Gamma Bomb giving him a bubble, because right now, he's just a glorified respawn timer. Banner's too smart to not think of his own survivability when he transforms. I also think Bruce specifically should play like a support, because he's never been a fan of violence and weapons. It would be cool to play as a Vanguard, then hide in the backline as a healer once you become Banner. Also, where does he keep the gun when he's Hulk? The rest of Hulk's and Monster Hulk's kits are pretty spot on lore-wise. The bubble and gamma lockdown may be a bit of a stretch, but they make enough sense to just let it slide. Overall, I'd give Hulk a B, only because Bruce bumps him down from an A. The first Avenger, Captain America, is next. I love how fun he is to play. You run around bouncing your shield between opponents, just being a complete nuisance, which is pretty spot on for the character. He's just constantly in your face, bashing your skull in with his shield. His abilities are all truth to the character, and his ultimate is an inspirational call to battle, fitting for the leader of the Avengers. That makes Cap our second S. Alright, let me just Google Cloak and Dagger really quick. Alright, light powers, Shadow Realm, blah blah blah. They got their powers from Super Heroine, blah blah blah. Wait, what the F? Apparently, this duo was kidnapped off the street and heavily drugged until they got powers, which is an insane origin story. Everyone else had it so easy. All Spider-Man had to do was get bit, and the X-Men just had to be born. Origin aside, Cloak and Dagger are very well implemented. Dagger's daggers have the power to heal, and Cloak feeds on people's fears. My two issues are the lack of mobility for Dagger because she's a talented street fighter, and how little Cloak uses the Shadow Realm. It would be cool if the ultimate banished opponents, but I'm not sure how you'd balance that. Overall, a high A for Tyrone and Tandy. The Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange is pretty much spot on. His portal is a feat of video game engineering, even if it destroys your frame rate. The shield and cloak are well done. They even implemented the constant fear of turning to the dark side of the mystic arts. The ult may seem weird at first if you only know the MCU version of the Eye of Agamotto, which houses the Time Stone. Separating souls doesn't really have much to do with time, but in the comics the Eye doesn't have the stone in it, and is actually heavily connected to pushing out souls. So, that makes the Doctor our third S. The White Queen, Emma Frost, is one of my favorite characters to play for many reasons. Switching between two fighting styles mid-game keeps things fresh and unique, similarly to Cloak and Dagger. It also makes a lot of sense for the character, since she canonically can't use her telepathic abilities while in her diamond form, forcing her to resort to high damage melee combat. Her regular kit is all focused on maintaining mental control. The longer she controls the opponent, whether it be with her beam, crystal, or ult, the more damage she does. I know we just had an S, but it'd be wrong to put her any lower. Groot. I am 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 Groot. Hawkeye. There isn't much to say. I mean, it's pretty hard to mess up a guy with just a bow and arrow. Realistically, the double jump, infinite arrows, and ult don't really make sense for the character, so I can't put him in S. But otherwise, he has a bow, multiple arrow types, and the Ronin sword. What more can you ask for? High A. The goddess of death Hela, taking out the entire lobby by summoning a couple swords, is about as lore accurate as you can get. She's terrifying to play against, as it really feels like she's going to take you to hell. Her stun is the only part of the kit that feels uncharacteristic, and she can't actually transform into a crow, but crows are heavily associated with death, so I'll let it slide. Overall, another A. The Human Torch is next. I have a feeling the tier list is going to be pretty top heavy, because Torch is another hero that's very well done. He's constantly flying, constantly on fire, constantly doing damage, and can go supernova. He can even make fire prisons like in the comics. You could argue that him slamming to the floor head first would cause him to snap his neck, but his fire does give him enhanced durability, so it's not that much of a reach. The one inaccuracy is that he is a little slow even when he's using his shift, but it's a small enough issue that I still think he should go in S. Sadly, his sister, the Invisible Woman, isn't as high up. It's simply because she just doesn't have healing powers, which is an issue I think a couple of the other strategists will have. She also can't self-heal, regardless of whether she's invisible or not. The rest of her powers are all fine, with force fields and pushes being a canon part of her kit. Despite that, I can't put her any higher than B because of her focus on healing. The Immortal Iron Fist is another character that's pretty hard to mess up. He punches, uses chi to heal, and enhances his abilities, and has a fist powered by a dragon. It is weird that they used Lin Lee instead of the main Iron Fist, Danny Rand. My best guess is it's because the MCU is going to write out the old Iron Fist, and they wanted to test the character here first. The main difference between Lin and Danny is that Lin has a sword infused in his fists, which you can see when you use his block. He could also technically fly short distances since the sword can move on its own, so him chasing down Iron Man in the sky actually has some precedent. That puts Iron Fist in S. The Invincible Iron Man. His abilities are pretty much all perfect. Repulsor Blast, Repulsor Beam, Enhanced Damage, Quick Flight, and Missiles all fit the suit. But I can't put him in S because I feel like they could have done so much more. First, he should always have a team up making gadgets for other characters. He just got 2 for Ultron and Squirrel Girl, but before that, he didn't have any. Second, he's a talented melee fighter, but it doesn't show up in his kit at all. A rocket-propelled punch would be a great addition when you get chased down by an Iron Fist. So, he goes in A, not because there's anything wrong, but because I want to see so much more. Jeff the Baby Land Shark. Oh, I'm dreading the amount of hate I'm gonna get for this one. Listen, he's adorable and funny and cute and nice, but in the comics, he's just a land shark. His spit can't heal, he can't swim in the floor or walls, he can't become huge or swallow everyone, and he's actually pretty tiny. I mean, lore-wise, the only ability that makes sense is his melee bite. So sadly, I have to put this adorable little baby at the bottom of F. Next is Loki. Actually, no, I'm going back. I can't do that to Jeff. I can't see him next to Widow like that. I'm making a new category just for him called Theoretically Possible. You see, in the comics, Jeff has the tendency to grab other heroes' equipment. He's managed to get his hands, or mouth I guess, on Pym particles, Cap's shield, a teleporter, a symbiote, and even the Infinity Gauntlet, which all gave him different abilities. So, in theory, if Jeff ate or had the right mix of gear, he could technically do everything he does in the game. And that's that. Please don't kill me, comics. So anywho, back to what I was saying, it's the god of mischief's turn, Loki. And it seems like Loki is going to suffer the same fate as Invisible Woman. He has a self-healing factor, but the world's greatest backstabber isn't much of a team player. It would take an act of God for him to willingly sit there and heal his brother. Loki likes the spotlight too much to stay in the backline for the whole match. It's a shame because the rest of his kit is pretty spot on with illusions and backstabbing, although his ult is a stretch because while he can disguise his others, he doesn't necessarily get their powers. So, like Sue, he's unwillingly going into B. Luna Snow is the only character I'd never heard of before this game. so my knowledge of her lore is lackluster. But a quick Google reveals that unlike Loki and Sue, Luna is actually a healer. She can summon black ice for damage and white ice for healing, perfectly mimicking her basic attack and ultimate. The rest of her kit is pretty straightforward. Obviously she can freeze enemies. Seems like no matter what tier list you're making, Luna is always an S. Magik is next, and if you've never played with her, I strongly recommend it. I mean, I'm absolutely horrible with her and it's hard to get value, but she's just so much fun and perfectly lore accurate. Her stepping discs are basically her main ability in other media. She has control of Limbo and can summon portals to traverse time and space. And as Limbo's queen, she can summon demons at her will. Her ult is also spot on, as Darkchild is basically just magic on crack. I hate to say it, but that's another S. Unlike Magik, Magneto is boring as hell. Left click, right click, bubble, repeat. Honestly, he's so inaccurate lore-wise that I'm considering moving Widow up a spot. I get why having a character like him in the game is necessary, but it should have been anyone else. They turned one of the strongest and coolest characters ever into a clicker game. The lore-accurate Magneto would wipe the entire lobby, actually the entire map, with the wave of his hand. Where's his pull, environment manipulation, flight, binding, crushing, or anything other than shields? He's an F, and yeah, he made me realize I was too hard on Widow. She goes up a spot. Mantis. I'ma sound like a broken record, but Mantis can't heal either. She can heal herself, but the best she can do for others is help mentally. Unless you're Groot, in which case she can go as far as make you grow faster. Her mental abilities explain the damage boost she grants and her sleep, but the healing half of her kit is unexplainable, to be honest. Also, it would be nice if her ability to see the future was implemented somehow. I'm not sure how you'd do it, but luckily that's not my job. Overall, she goes with the other strategists in B. Dr. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, is a lot more accurate than his wife. The Doctor can stretch, grab, slam, enlarge, and increase his density to reflect just like all his abilities. The only reason he's not an S is because, like Iron Man, he can do so much more. He can become flat, turn into a liquid, glide, and even transform into others. So yes, I'm greedy. I want to see more. That puts Fantastic in A. Mark Spector, Steve Grant, Jake Lockley, the Fist of Khonshu, the Moon Knight. Did you know he can control Mjolnir because it's made of moon parts, despite most definitely not being worthy? I mean, this guy is OP in the comics. Functionally immortal, perfect aim, and an expert in hand-to-hand combat. What he can't do, though, is summon Khonshu at will. I mean, in many iterations, it isn't even clear if Khonshu is real, or just another one of Mark's delusions. Also, Mark loves getting his hands dirty, so standing in the back throwing onks and crescents would get boring for him real quick. Also, a lore-accurate Moon Knight would randomly switch between personalities with different fighting styles, similar to Emma in Cloak and Dagger. All that being said, I think he belongs in B. Namor Mackenzie? The Submariner's last name is Mackenzie? Why does he have such a white butt last name? Anywho, Namor is absolutely busted in the comics. The heroes should thank God that none of their maps are underwater, because Namor would smoke them. That strength doesn't really translate into rivals. Then again, I don't imagine it's easy to throw that trident as far as he does. However, Namor does get weaker the longer he's away from water, so it would be interesting if that happened in the game, and the shift was used to heal and strengthen him. It's cool he gets a slow fall, but it would be better if he got an ability similar to Strange's Cloak. Also, squids don't spawn out of eggs instantly and then just vanish into the floor, and the horn does let the user control Giganto, but it doesn't let them summon him out of solid ground. I'm gonna have to put him in C, just because the squids and Giganto make no physical sense. Penny Parker, the protector of doorways. Listen, I love blowing up noobs who don't look before they walk as much as the next guy, but lore-wise, Penny should play a lot more like Spider-Man. Her SPDR suit is just as fast and agile as Spider-Man, so it's weird to see her resort to a simple tether and walking. SPDR should also have more weapons, like the buzzsaw from the movie. She's great gameplay-wise, but a C lore-wise. Now it's time for the only reason you're watching this video, the brand new character, the subscribe button! Yes, I put my shameless plug here because I know everyone's going to skip to see Phoenix. And it's a good thing they called her Phoenix, because if this was Jean Grey, she'd be an F for lore. The character has none of Jean's telepathy or telekinesis abilities. They're all fire-based powers, which makes sense for the Phoenix, I guess. Even then, it doesn't really match with the canon, because a canon Phoenix would kill everyone and everything in an instant. In almost every iteration, the Phoenix binds with the host can't control it, and it just ends in destruction. So the Phoenix just kind of chilling there, obeying commands, and reloading willingly is very out of character for it. I would say only the ult wiping the map is accurate, which puts Phoenix in D for lore accuracy. Gameplay wise, I think she's going to end up being hard meta. Also, please consider subscribing. I'm almost at 1,000, so it'll help a lot. Psylocke is actually a variant. The original Psylocke is Betsy Braddock, while the version in Rivals is Sai. There isn't much info on the extent of this Psylocke's powers, because she's relatively new, so I don't have much to work off. From what I can find, though, it seems like her main weapon is her katana, not shurikens, so it's weird that she only uses her sword in her ult. She also always has her dog Logan fighting alongside her. It's not like her to leave him behind, and I don't think Wolverine would be willing to fill in for him. Not having Logan and barely losing her katana forces her into C. Rocket, not a raccoon, is my favorite guardian by far. Just so much anger, sarcasm, and genius crammed into a cute little furball. A support with a minigun is the perfect role for him. He loves to be in the battle raining havoc, but is also always making gizmos and gadgets to help his friends. If anyone found a way to cheat death or produce infinite ammo, it would be Rocket. All he's missing is a bomb, because the only thing he likes more than shooting things is blowing them up. That puts Rocket in A. Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is probably the best example of why we can't have lore-accurate characters. She can literally wipe out an entire race with just 3 words. What on earth is a baby land shark supposed to do against her? She held a whole town hostage in an illusion for months, but can't stay invisible for more than a couple seconds? The real Wanda would be borderline untouchable, not die to a couple explosive acorns. That said, she's not as bad as Magneto, because at least her ult is cool. Still, she's going in F. Guess Widow wasn't that bad after all. Spider-Man is probably the most lore-accurate character on this list. And it's not just because his kit is perfect. It's because he's a goddamn menace. Holy crap, bro. I just want to play the goddamn game. I'm here trying to heal my tanks like a good little support. And boom, back to the spawn move. I don't even have time to register that I'm getting hit before I blow up. And if you somehow escape, good luck catching him. Because he'll just swing away before you even turn around. I used to think J. Jonah Jameson was a villain. But now I know he was the Messiah, bro. Warning us about the real villain. Spider-Man. Take your damn S and leave me alone. Still my favorite superhero, though. The unbeatable Squirrel Girl is next, and considering that she can lose, I'd say she's probably going at the bottom. See, Squirrel Girl is a gag character in the sense that her powers aren't that good, but she somehow always wins. She's taken down Doom, Galactus, Abomination, Thanos, and countless more by just throwing endless squirrels at the problem. Sometimes she just kind of talks them out of it. Honestly, just put Doreen in a room with both Dooms, and we'd have this whole thing solved by lunchtime. But until then, she joins the other nerfed characters in F. Our second Peter, Star-Lord. I mean, he shoots and glides. Seems pretty accurate to me. His boots make him very agile, and he definitely takes advantage of them in Rivals. He just feels cool to play as you shoot, fly, and flip around, which is what I imagine it would be like to fight in space. The one thing his kit needs are elemental powers. He has elemental guns, which are supposed to shoot the 4 elements, but it doesn't come up in his kit at all. Since that's the only issue, he still gets to go in A. Storm, having to reload wind, is even worse than Groot reloading his arms. Like, why does Hawkeye have a bottomless quiver, but air runs out? Storm is also an Omega level mutant, so you can probably guess where she's going to go considering the rankings of the other Omega mutants. She can control all weather, but in Rivals she just gets wind and lightning. The most basic change would be to give her more storm types, like rain for bonus health and a sandstorm for blindness. I do like her concept of buffing the environment for her team enough for me to put her in D, not F. Frank the Punisher Castle just mows down opponents with no remorse, which obviously fits the character's MO. He's just a buff guy who's really talented with a gun, and a knife, and a sword, and bombs, and any weapon really. Rivals captures his love for blood quite well. Only issue is he can't summon weapons out of thin air. Yeah, you can assume he got a high-tech friend to help him out, but if we're going to go by the book, you can't just pull a turn out of his pocket. That pushes him down to B, but still one of my favorite duelists. It's the final member of the Fantastic Four, the Thing. He struggled last season, but it seems like his new ability is going to make him busted this season. The diving thing was not on my bingo card for the new meta. It does look weird for a pile of rocks to be moving that fast, but it's not that unusual for Ben. Despite his weight and size, the Thing moves surprisingly fast. He's a talented boxer too, so it's definitely possible for him to punch someone out of the sky. The floating damage reduction rocks make no sense though, so he'll have to go to A instead of S. We're on our final 5, with the God of Thunder, Thor. At this point, I think the pattern is obvious. The Prince of Asgard should not be the weakest tank in the game. There are variants of Thor that could beat even Wanda. That being said, I actually like his kit. Throwing Mjolnir, charging into enemies, and the awakened form all feel right for the character. He's just not strong enough. He also definitely needs more lightning. So, down to D he goes. Next is the new strategist from last season, Ultron. Who would have thought that the AI hell-bent on destroying all life would be a horrible healer? Honestly, I think we found a character less lore accurate than Magneto. I mean, Ultron flies up, yells, "Extermination!" then proceeds to heal you? In what world does that make sense? Ultron should have an army of bots designed to eliminate everyone and everything, not a mini drone that provides area healing. And even if we let the drone slide, you're telling me the all-powerful AI couldn't figure out how to make his beam constant without Stark? Congrats, Mag. Guess you're no longer the worst. F for Ultron. Venom is next. I don't know how to explain it, but they did such a good job making Venom feel like a liquid. He's so fluid, dynamic, and slimy. When he slams down, he puddles into the floor, and his ult completely transforms him. He grabs enemies and even shares parts of himself with allies. The one thing I'd love to see is a team up with Punisher, where he gets a gun like Agent Venom. That would be sick. Otherwise, no notes. Up to S. The penultimate character, Bucky the Winter Soldier. We're finishing off with some bangers, because Bucky is really well done. His arm is definitely more advanced than usual, nothing he can't handle. His ult is the most fun ult in the game, allowing him to go on an endless killing spree. Unlike everyone in F, I actually think he's too strong for the character. I also want to see more melee combat, so he'll have to go in A. And last but not least, Wolverine. Look, I'll make this quick. Lore-accurate Wolverine basically can't die, and his passive is a poor imitation of his real healing factor. Otherwise, his kit is perfect. Claws, grabs, and spreading fear into all tanks by just going absolutely berserk. It's spot on. If it wasn't for the healing factor being so crucial to the character, he'd be an S no doubt. But because of balancing, he's at the top of B. And there you have it. Every character ranked by lore accuracy. Overall, I think all the kits are well done. It's just that many characters are world-endingly strong in the comics. All the heroes still feel like the actual characters, which is Rival's greatest achievement. Honestly, except for Mag and Ultron, they were done dirty. Feel free to tell me what I got wrong, and please subscribe.